Hello, magnificent listeners. This is Scott with Perch Points Podcast, and I'm accompanied by my brother Rob.
Howdy.
Just want to let everybody know that's loving this podcast that if you also want something along the lines of sports, fun stories, different weird scenarios, fun drops, the whole deal, gambling,
Come on, don't forget
gambling, exactly,
Yeah.
and just fun
Oh,
drinking
crack another one.
stories. Come on, listen to Perch Points Podcast on Apple or Spotify and now Amazon.
Let's rally!
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to once again another episode of Magnificent. I have been away for so long. It feels like it's been about about almost 2 to 3 weeks. And I know I've been getting messages from different people and saying like, when are you gonna post another episode? When are you gonna post an episode? So figured I'd let you all know that I got a very special guest in the house. I've known him for about 20 years, and he is studying film at Grand Valley State University. He is my baby brother, JT. What is going on, JT?
Nothing much. I'm not such a baby anymore, but I appreciate that.
Yeah, right. You're still my youngest brother, so I will consider you the baby of the family, even though we've had additional family members through marriage and everything like that.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
So we went on a vacation.
We did.
We went to Tennessee, Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge, for about a week. I mean, you're wearing one of the shirts right now from the Sunliner Diner,
Yeah.
the 50s authentic diner that's in Pigeon Forge, I believe.
Probably one of the best restaurants we went to the entire time.
That was fun.
We-
It did really feel authentic.
We went twice, so I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
We had to go back. And I mean, they have a jukebox there. All the wait staff are in like 50s gear. You got like old school Cadillacs
Out in the front.
out in the front, and you can sit in a booth
Yeah.
possibly.
I mean, they even have the old toys
Yep.
from the 50s in
Yep,
the
there's
gift
a little
shop.
in that gift shop. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean that was really fun of an experience. I mean, like, their milkshakes are phenomenal.
Oh yeah, they come with a little piece of waffle.
Yeah. And then with the whipped cream on top
And a cherry.
and
Yeah.
sprinkles and all that fun stuff. But damn, is that good. I mean, what was your favorite part of the vacation?
I mean, it's really hard to process all of it, but I mean, like, my favorite part. No, sorry, I know exactly what my favorite part of the vacation was: making my knife. Yeah, to the viewers who don't know, in Pigeon Forge there is a place called the Old Mill, and it's a little town built around this one old mill that they have a forge. It's like Iron Mountain Forge, something Mountain Iron,
Knife.
something like
It's
that.
like
but
metal,
yeah,
something.
but it's a place where you can make a reservation to make your own knife. And when you do it is literally all you. The only thing that the blacksmiths do is they put it in and out of the forge and they hold it while you hammer it. You are responsible for everything else except for polishing and sharpening. And it all comes with a sheath, and you can get your an image or a name or words inscribed on the blade. And there's a leather shop around back that they said you can get something like stamped on your sheath that comes with it. And at most you like with me building the most expensive knife there. That
And
was
what knife was that?
It was the railroad spike, which was sick. It was awesome. And when you do the railroad spike, it's like $85 initial, and then after tax and after inscription or whatever, the laser engraving on the blade, which was an extra $10, and tipping the blacksmith, I think I paid about $110 for that experience, which I think is worth it. The lowest costing one that you can do, if you're above 12, is I think $35, which is a pony shoe that you can do. That's pretty good.
Yeah, the pony shoe is the smallest one, right?
Yeah, that's the one Casey did, and then Zach did the horseshoe, which is $50.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, it was a cool experience to watch you guys do that. I didn't do it mainly because I was doing a lot of touristy kind of stuff, and plus, I just didn't want a knife because I feel like I just got too many pocket knives and everything like that. But
you tried to convince Zach and I to go in on a pair of boots with you.
well, but Zach also, Zach got a cowboy hat.
He did, and he looks great in it.
And I mean, if you guys wanted, you could have, like, I don't know, like I was just suggesting it and everything like that. So I didn't. Yeah.
I just don't see myself wearing any cowboy gear.
And Harley is back on the table.
I just
don't love that.
I don't see myself wearing any cowboy gear unless I'm like, doing it ironically, or I'm
like
doing
as
it
a costume or
yeah,
something.
like a costume, or like I'm like, oh, I'm in Tennessee, so when in Rome, do as the Romans do. So
yeah, but the thing is like, I mean, other than like Nashville, I would say that nobody really dresses like that. Like Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge, nobody dresses like that.
I saw a couple people in downtown Gatlinburg,
cowboy hat and all.
Yeah, well, not in all, but I saw them, and they were wearing boots. They were wearing Timbs, but they had a cowboy hat on, and this was around 4th of July, so they may have been dressing up. So
yeah, probably. Was it a
it was a straw hat.
American flag straw hat?
No, not an American flag. It was regular straw. Dude looked like a hick. He was probably wearing he was wearing a wife beater and jeans and yeah.
Interesting. Oh, and before I forget, we got to do our dad joke of the episode. So get you ready?
Yeah, you didn't do the echo.
I know. I got to do the echo. I know.
Here, wait. Let me do it. Put on the echo.
All right, JT. What is today? What are we doing right now?
The dad joke of the episode.
That's actually really good. Good job.
I have experience.
That was impressive. I will be honest with you on that one.
That's what I'm going to school for.
All right. What do you call two jalapenos making love?
Oh. I don't know. I might take too long to guess, so just go ahead and say it.
Fucking hot.
Nice.
And that was the dad joke of the episode.
Well, Dad doesn't think jalapenos are hot, so I mean,
yeah. But when they're making love, they are.
Yeah.
So back to the vacation. Yeah. So it was just the knife. I mean, like, what's?
Well, I mean, it's not the only thing, but you said the thing, like
the favorite thing.
I remember, like,
was that the only thing that you wanted to do?
That wasn't the only thing. I wanted to do a bunch of stuff.
I remember we wanted to watch a micro wrestling and shit.
Yes, that was something like that one. A lot of the stuff that happened in the vacation, I always thought, okay, I can go with or without. Harley just like tried to fucking get my hand. But anyway, the majority of the episode, the majority of the trip, I thought I could go with or without a majority of the things, and realistically I could have, like,
right.
But I'm glad we did all the stuff. I just know that the number one thing that I wanted to do was the knife making. So yeah, that was just something that I found, or I didn't even find it. You guys mentioned it, and I was like, yes, that is it. That is my one thing that I want to do, because everyone got their one thing that they wanted to do. I mean, you got your one thing, Zach, like everyone, and that was my one thing, and I was glad, and I had a smile on my face the entire time.
I know I saw that you had a big old smile on your face while you were making the whole thing, and you said that you were going to be like Iron Man and
Yes,
hammer
from Iron Man 1
and hammer it out, and with that I was just like with every hit, like you were just like, both hands and everything.
Well, yeah. Well, I wanted to go one hand, but the guy said to everyone that we had to do two hands, and we couldn't swing above our heads, is what he said. And I accidentally swung above my head one time, and right when I did that, he had a surprised expression on my face and a slight bit of fear in his eyes as he looked at me, and I was like, "I'm sorry, I got out of control here. I got it." And he's like, "No, you're good. Keep going, you got it." Because after the first round of hitting the metal, because we did 3 rounds of pounding on it, and
3 rounds of pounding.
3 rounds of pounding. I really tried to avoid saying it, but I couldn't figure out any way else to say it. But after 3 rounds of doing that, after the first round, I remember him saying, "And that's how you do it right there," because like I put my heart and soul in hammering the shit out of it. So.
Well, and I know for a fact, like you're like, I'm gonna be like Iron Man and hammer it out and this and that, and then you just had a smile on your face the whole entire time. I'm like, hit that shit, Iron Man.
Yeah,
get that.
I heard you in the background the entire time. I heard you, and it was amusing for like the first maybe 1 or 2 times you said it, but then eventually, the 10th time saying it felt, like I got it. But I think it is one of the greatest experiences that I've ever had. Okay, Matthew just left because he has to let his girlfriend in. So I'm gonna have my little private moment with you guys because he has left his chair. Honestly, glad to be here. Yeah, I've been talking to him. Yeah, he just came back. Don't worry about it.
Sorry, y'all. Had to open the door for somebody, and I'm like, keep going.
Oh, but somebody's.
Yeah, somebody's. Yeah. So I'm like out of breath right now.
The most interesting man alive just had 2 women walk into his place of living.
Yeah.
And he's wearing sunglasses inside.
Just call me a pimp, baby.
All right, let's just continue.
All right, so let's continue
away
with
from the pimp talk.
So anyway, let's continue with the vacation. So we were talking about how we did whitewater rafting.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
Was that your first time ever whitewater rafting?
No, I did whitewater rafting when I was 14. When we went to Lake Ann, because it was weird because Lake Ann, you usually stay at the place, you usually stay at the camp. But since I was 14 and I was going into freshman year, we had this special thing where it's like you do this getaway thing called Fresh Start, where you and the rest of the kids your age go off of the campus and you make your own tents. You put up a tent and you sleep in them, and you wake up, you make your own food. We made our own breakfast. We had little pouches of stuff that it was like, okay, do this on your small griddle that we had or whatever. And then every day we'd ride a mile on this this river. I forget what river it is, but like each day we rode a mile, or not rode, but I guess rode, like row. Yeah, we rode a mile, and then we got off and went back to camp. And each day we got dropped off at a different launch point that was each a mile apart. And eventually at the end of the week, we had done 6 miles, and we've gone through the majority of the river.
So were the rapids as intense as what we did?
Oh God, no, not at all.
So it was like baby stuff.
Well, I mean, there were some where it got faster, and maybe we
so it was like
over a
level
wave.
2s
Yeah. No, it was pretty basic. I mean, what do you expect from a church camp? Filing a bunch of freshmen into a boat. Like, you don't want something huge, but
yeah, I heard of different points to where they were just like, "This is God's challenge. We need to work together."
Well, Ralph lost his paddle.
Yeah, well,
I looked back at the footage from the vlog,
and
I see it floating down the river when I turn around. Right after we hear that he lost his paddle, and I turn around, you can see it floating off, like just barely keeping behind us off in the right, while we're all staring at him. He's like, "Oh, I had it in my lap, it just slipped away."
It just slipped away.
Yeah.
I had to
adjust the keys so they
I had
didn't go
to
in my
fix
ass.
these damn keys because they kept puncturing a hole in my ass.
Yep. And the first,
That's our stepfather for you,
well, here's
ladies
the
and
thing.
gentlemen.
Here's the thing they gotta know. The first rule that was hammered into our brains while we were on the bus ride there was always keep your hand at the end of the oar.
Yeah.
Always have a hand on the oar.
Right.
And then he just sets his on his lap, thinking that it's gonna stay there.
Yeah, well, Ralph thinks he knows everything, but then so Ralph goes to the beat of his own drum, right? And there were a couple times to where that shit got him in trouble.
Yeah, that's true.
One was the paddle, thinking he knew everything, and lost the paddle.
And the other one was a 95 mile per hour beat of the drum that he got a ticket on the way to Tennessee.
No, it was 80. It was 85, not 90. Yeah, so we were going. So literally, it was like
I mean, granted, it was in Ohio.
Yeah, well, yeah, but of course, it was perfect, kind of like National Lampoon Vacation moment.
Yeah.
To where we're driving down the highway, singing along to the music. Definitely wasn't Taylor Swift, and I can definitely say that, we were just enjoying life, and we're cruising down the highway. All of a sudden, we get pulled over by a state trooper.
I believe his name that we gave him was Officer Dickweed.
Yeah, it was Officer Dickweed.
But he was nice. He was a nice guy.
Yeah.
We just thought it would be funny to call him Officer Dickweed.
Yeah. So anyway, but so we were going down, and the cop pulls us over, and he goes, "Do you guys know how fast? Do you know why we pulled you over?" And Ralph goes, "Speeding." And so he goes, "Yeah, I clocked you in at about 82, then 84, then 85, and didn't know what the speed limit was. Well, so we got the $135 ticket, and then ended up cruising down, and so we all were like, well, okay, it's 80. We went about 80 something. What's the speed limit?"
I think the standard is 70.
65.
No way.
It was 65.
Damn Ohio.
Yeah. So screw you, Buckeyes. So, but with that, I mean, I'm just like, okay, so he got himself in trouble on that one, the paddle. And then remember when we parked really high up on that hill, and then we took a shortcut,
yeah,
and I felt like a little odd about it. I'm like, this feels kind of sketchy because there were holes in like the different boards and everything like that. And then
can I tell the story?
Go for it.
So basically, we found this like abandoned looking staircase that had sections of staircase that some were missing, but mostly they were intact. And we were like, okay, this is a shorter path down, or we could walk around this giant parking lot hill, and it will take so long. So all the boys decided, okay, let's go on this shorter path. So we go down. There's rusty wood,
broken off,
pieces
yeah.
over
different
like,
holes and
yeah,
different sections.
holes in the boards, and we get down to the ground, and then the guy who's at the gate, who like takes everyone's ticket or whatever, he was like, we came down, and he was like, "Oh, I'm mighty glad you guys made it down safe," and we're like, "Huh?" He said, "Yeah, there's about like 50 copperheads that live in there." And we were like, "Oh."
We were all shitting our pants.
Yeah.
And
He said-
Ralph's face was like,
he said-
Ralph's face was like, "Oh, did not know that." And then we're all like, "All right, don't say a word to
Yeah.
mom. Don't
Yeah.
say a word."
But the guy said, "Yeah, if you would have gotten bit 45 minutes, you'd have to get to a hospital or you're dead." And then mom came over, and you tell him not to
I
say
didn't.
anything.
Yeah, I'm like
and
telling
then-
everybody
and
not
then-
to say anything.
And then
she-
Zach comes over to mom, and he's like, "Hey, I think you guys did the right thing." She was like, "Why?" And he was like, "Oh, there's about 50 copperheads living over there."
and
we coulda
she
died."
chewed Ralph's ass to the bone,
That's-
dude.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay. The fact that I said don't say anything to mom, because I knew that was gonna happen. That she was gonna chew somebody's ass out. And then Zach just throws away bro code. Just throws it away.
Yeah, I mean, oh, sorry, setting my keys down. All right, but no, I mean, it's okay. I mean,
It was funny.
it was
It
was funny.
Watch
for
it.
her
I
to
mean,
find
because it
out.
was Ralph's
Yeah,
idea to go down that way. So
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
yeah,
It was
but I
funny.
mean, yeah, watching mom just chew his ass to bits was just entertaining. As long as it wasn't mine, I'm all good. It's entertaining.
yeah.
So, but I mean, we did that, and I mean, we did so many other different things. So I mean, it was just all around fun, and
Yes,
so I mean, we did the Sky Bridge.
did a lot of alcohol tasting, except I didn't, because
You didn't. I did.
I was just watching from a distance.
Yeah.
And admiring what comes in a month from now.
Right. I mean, we were doing moonshine tasting. We did cider tasting. Did you get both of the? I know you got the cider tasting on your vlog.
I didn't get the moonshine tasting on the video because Casey and I were busy building a Build-A-Bear next door.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's true romance right there.
Yeah. He so his name is Smokey because he's a bear, and he has a flannel, a blue flannel,
Yeah.
and he has we got a patch, and we ironed on a patch onto the back of the flannel that says Rocky Mountains.
Yeah.
And when we were picking out his heart, you have the ceremony where you do it. So when we were doing the ceremony, she had us pick us out a heart, and there were two different kinds of hearts. There's a solid red, and then there was a flannel heart. And I was like, we're getting this flannel heart, even though nobody's ever gonna see it.
Now, did you do one that speaks like?
No, we could have. Also, I didn't know this, but you can take any Build-A-Bear that you want that you've ever made back to Build-A-Bear, and they will open it up and put in a voice module if you want to.
Oh,
So, but we were debating about it, but we didn't end up doing that. But during the heart ceremony, we did, like rub it on your nose so it knows who you are. Rub it on, put it on your chest so it can sync with your heart or whatever, and give it a kiss goodbye, put it in the bear, and it's yours and it's alive, blah blah blah. But no, yeah, that was fun. It was nostalgic because I haven't made a Build-A-Bear since like 2006.
Oh, so long, so long.
Yeah, it's becoming a long time.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure it was a special moment that you got to share with Casey, and
Yeah.
you guys got to do that kind of thing.
Yeah, we made it together, but it's her bear. She sleeps with it.
We made it, but it's hers.
I gave it like I was like, I know that we're making this together, but I
Deep
know
down inside.
you're going to have it because I passed my stuffed animal stage. Took me a bit, but I did.
I feel like with women, like you have different stages of like cuddling things, you know.
Well,
Like-
everybody's cuddly. You don't have to be a woman to be cuddly.
No, I'm saying like stuffed animals kind of thing, you know. Like I had like a Woody little doll thing, and then
Yeah.
you know, stuffed animals, and then you know, it could lead up to like a body pillow. So
Yeah.
you know, you never know. And so, but I mean, and then you know, you gradually either get out of it or find a new replacement. So
Yeah. Marketing and gender roles.
yeah.
You know that's a thing, right?
Marketing and gender roles.
Yeah, they specifically market products. You know, I mean, it's obvious. Like, there's men's products and there's women's products.
Oh
but-
yeah, that makes sense.
But sometimes it's more subtle than others when they say when they produce something that you think might be more inclusive. It's just, you know, giving another outlet for another cash grab.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Anyway, moving on to the next point.
Oh. You're just gonna move that quickly?
Yeah, I don't want to have a whole discussion about, you know, how capitalistic means don't always justify the ends. You know, and
Well, I mean, we got 5 minutes until our first break, so let's go, college boy. Let's have a little discussion on this.
okay, so I took a class last year called Human Sexuality, where we discussed the evolutionary standpoint, psychological and physiological points of human sexuality and all that intertwines it. We looked at something called a baby. Do you know what a baby is?
No, what is this baby?
So a baby is a baby that is born and raised as gender neutral until they decide for themselves what they feel they should identify as.
Okay.
So when a parent is raising a baby, there is no blue is for boy, pink is for girls. It is
Pure yellow.
no, it's not. No, it's never a gender specific thing that is given to them. Like they don't wear clothes with bows if they're a girl, or that they could wear both, like boy clothes and girl clothes.
Okay.
Because like when you're a baby, if you saw a boy baby dressed in girls' baby clothes, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
Right, until you took the diaper off.
Who's gonna take the diaper off?
To
Unless you're
change the
parent.
diaper.
Unless you're the parent though, who's raising it. So, but like, anyway, it's a whole thing because realistically, there doesn't need to be in society two different gendered products unless that product is designed specifically for the needs of a gender. Like men don't need women hygiene products, so those are marketed specifically to women because they only can be.
True. Oh, men don't need thongs.
They
I mean, there are, but they're all
wear 'em.
okay. But here's the thing: I can definitely tell you, a women's thong fits way different than a man thong. I'm not speaking from experience.
Yeah, you want to talk about that?
No, I'm not speaking from experience, but I'm just saying, like, you know, there's more security.
Well, yeah, because their genitalia is different, Matt.
Exactly. So there's
Yes.
different products.
One
in
is
that as
interior,
well, right?
one's exterior, but sometimes they're in between. Another thing that I learned, there is born at birth seven different types of possible genitalia that can happen due to the lack or too much of testosterone given to the baby from the mother in utero. That is also what decides sex in a child, whether
Okay.
you're a man or a woman.
Okay.
But chromosomes always stay the same
Gotcha.
at birth, during formation.
So this whole sexuality course
Yeah,
taught you, you know,
a shit ton.
yeah, I can tell. I can tell.
And it was so interesting. Literally, I can tell you confidently that course, one, it's an easy A, but just because it's an easy A doesn't mean you're not going to learn anything, because obviously I have. And the reason I have is because Marianne Gerard, my amazing professor, shout out to her, she taught the class with such enthusiasm and respect to her students, and she made it make sense.
Yeah, didn't she come in and be like, "We're gonna be talking about vaginas and penises"?
So first day, ready? First day we get into class. She says, "Good morning, all my beautiful pumpkin pie angels." And I was like, okay, this is going to be an amazing class. The moment she started talking, and she said, "Okay, so in this class, we are going to talk about the mental, physical, and evolutionary standpoint of human sexuality." And basically, you know, she was like, "Okay, we'll have donuts on the day we talk about cervixes, because you know donut holes like look like half a cervix," and and then at the end of the class she said, "Okay, before we finish up class, we're gonna fill up a condom with water and we're gonna throw it around because I want to break the myth that condoms break easily." She filled up a like basically dollar store condom that GV gives with water, and we threw that thing across the room and it never broke. And she even slammed on the ground, never. And that was like, okay, this is cool.
Well, all right. Well, we're gonna take a really quick break. All right, JT, thank you for gulping into the mic.
Oh, are you recording right now? All right. I'm glad.
What manners you have. So you're a film major at GVSU.
Film and video with a minor in photography.
Okay. And what kind of like jobs do you think that could like go down towards? Like,
Well, surprisingly, film and video is a very wide, you know, it has a very wide range of things that you can do when you come out with a film and video degree, because within the film and video degree, you have taken audio classes, video classes, script writing classes. So you know how to work a camera,
right.
you can work audio, and working camera can get you quite a few things. It can get you promotional videos, cinematography on a film. It can get you a TV gig on, you know, sports or television or news. Like camera, you know, news people need camera guys. So do sports. In fact, you know, I'm doing my internship at Jimmy John's Field, where I am doing sports videography. So I'm part of the broadcast and I'm working the camera live, and that's, you know, something. And also editing, I forgot to leave out. You can edit so many different things. May that be videos, photos, audio, people. The great thing about being a film and video major is I was told this one thing by one of my professors. I forget who said it, but is people always want to get their stuff done, but they don't want to do it themselves. And that's where you come in.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, because a lot of this stuff is pretty simple to do, but not enough people put in the effort to try and figure it out.
So what would you say are your like kind of not mentors, people that you like look up to as filmmakers?
Well, I mean, there's the classics, you know, there's Spielberg, there's George Lucas, and then Kevin Feige.
Kevin
Feige
make?
is like, well, I say Kevin Feige. He's the like grand producer of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Jon Favreau is high on there because not only did Jon Favreau is an amazing director because he felt like doing a Christmas movie and made Elf.
Yeah.
He felt like making a good movie about, you know, food. He made Chef.
What's Chef about?
Oh my gosh. It is literally a feel-good movie about food. That is all you need to know before you go into it, because you'll go into it and you'll be like, okay, nice food, stuff. I don't want to give, like, I mean, it's really hard to explain, because he's a chef at this restaurant, and the restaurant doesn't make the food that he wants to make, and he tells his bosses, he's like, hey, we should do this menu that I've made because it'll get customers going. We can't just say, shovel the same stuff in their mouth all the time, because it gets bland. And so the restaurant owner disagrees with him, and they get into an argument, and eventually, I forget if he fires or if he quits, but he does, and then he goes off and he makes a food truck with his best friend and his son, and they're making the food that he wants to make, and they're popping off in this food truck. They're getting mad business, and it is just an amazing, feel good, I'm hungry movie. Like, after you watch this movie, if you don't eat during the movie, you will be hungry after. Because all the food in it looks fantastic. But anyway, John Favreau, he made Elf, he made Chef.
Hey, he's also been in amazing movies as well.
He decided
he's been in Rudy.
Yeah. Well, he also decided to make a superhero movie once. Guess what movie that was?
What?
Iron Man.
That was Iron Man?
Jon Favreau directed Iron Man.
That's insane.
Guess what he also made?
What?
Jon Favreau wanted to dip his toes into Star Wars. He made The Mandalorian.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yes.
Damn, Jon Favreau, look at you making moves.
Yes, and when I say he made it, like, I mean, obviously, a lot of people don't realize, I mean, like, they get the basic understanding, but, like, when you see big names, it's not just those big names out there, because film is a team, like, it's a group project medium.
Yeah.
It's just that, directors who have the vision for the thing usually gets their name put out there more. So Jon Favreau may have, like, had these ideas and may have wanted to create some things, but he couldn't have done it without the help of everyone else.
Right.
But yes, he is a huge influence on cinema in the modern sense.
Yeah. Now, what about, like, other people like Martin Scorsese, Quentin Tarantino?
Yes.
And
so, like, so a lot of the guys that you listed, and a couple that I listed before, like, basically, there's a moment that there are different ages of film history.
Okay.
There, because when do you want to hear the story of how movies came to be?
Let's hear it.
So, movies came to be because there were two rich guys who loved horse racing, and they made a bet to each other. They said, you know what? We have these cameras. I bet you that a horse, when it runs, I bet its feet leave the ground and are stuck in the air all at the same time. And the other guy was like, okay, then I bet you, however much lump sum of money, that a horse has at least 1 foot on the ground at all times, and that the feet don't all leave the ground at once. And so the other rich guy was like, okay, deal. So the rich guy who thought that the horse's feet, when it runs, kept it, at one point has all feet off the ground, he hired a photographer, and the photographer made, I don't know if he invented shutter speed or if he just amplified it. I forget which one it is. It's one of those, but back in that day, film was still like a medium where if you sat down and took a photo, you didn't always press a button and it would just take the photo. You would have to have however long exposure in order to get a image. So it might be a couple seconds.
Now, did they have cartoons as well?
No,
this
no,
time?
cartoons didn't exist because nobody knew how to get images in motion. So this is what this is leading up to. So eventually they figured out that, okay, if a horse crosses this point at this time, let's set up cameras to take pictures of this horse as it goes around. So they set up a shit ton of cameras. And as the horse went around, I don't know if it was a tripwire or something, but something triggered a single exposure, and they got the horse in its full motion. And it turns out that a horse does have its hooves off the ground for a split second, so it looks like it's hovering. Because every single depiction of a horse in a painting before this photo came out is always of a horse with its hooves, its two front legs spread out in the front and its two back legs spread out in the back. But really, when it's above ground, when it jumps or well, not
when
jumps,
it runs,
but when it runs, it actually they curl into its body.
Yeah.
So ever since that photo is the reason why now and forever forward a horse will be depicted as having its hooves curled in. But that is not what made movies. The fact that that photographer then later, after helping a millionaire get richer off of a bet, he then took these photos and put it on a spinner. And on that spinner, on the out, and the pictures were on the inside of the spinner. And on the outside of the spinner, he cut holes. And then when he spun them, he realized that those photos, when looking at them in succession, create a moving image. Thus, silent films were made. Because they were like, okay, we have film and we can make multiple images after one another and play them back at fast speed at 24 frames a second, and that will make a what they called well, actually no, I think they that's why they're called motion pictures. And they would, you know, go see them, and there would be an actual orchestra playing the music theme for the songs because there was no sound on the film yet. So eventually somebody figured out how to get sound written onto film. And then after sound came on, the scene, I guess, people called them talkies at first because they were movies that talked.
Now, have you ever seen a silent film?
I have.
Which silent film would that be?
Shoot. It was one of I'm trying to, it was like an industrial one, I know it. And it was oh my gosh.
Because I've seen about two.
Well, which
I've seen the Charlie Chaplin's The Kid, which is a comedy, and I'll be honest, even though there was no talking whatsoever, just Charlie Chaplin is an absolute icon and a genius, because watching The Kid, I felt moved by the relationship that he had with the kid, as well as the physical comedy that he had.
Well, also you'll notice in silent films or in early talkies, or even what people think of as classic cinema, black and white. The reason that people are so, like, in that age are so animated with their delivery,
because
of things,
it came
because
from the
because
stage.
they had, well, not only the stage, but also in silent films, if you wanted to get a point across, you can't say that point and people understand. You need to express your body. So when that came across into actual audio, people were delivering like Shakespearean actors because they needed to get that motion across. But the silent film that I have seen, that it is a Charlie Chaplin film. I'm just trying to figure out which one it is, because
Well, and I can definitely say the other silent film that I watched was Buster Keaton's The General, and that one was quite interesting as well, but also
Oh,
very
wait.
comedic.
I found it.
What was it?
Modern Times.
Modern Times.
Yes, Charlie Chaplin, Modern Times. I honestly did not expect to be able to like fully, like, I always thought that like silent films weren't enjoyable uh, anymore because growing up I'm like, oh,
Oh,
silent film.
that was made in 1936.
Yeah, because well, like growing up I was like, what? I don't get how people enjoyed these, but then after watching Modern Times, and we saw it in one of my film classes, I was like, oh yeah, there's some funny
Yeah.
stuff in here.
Yeah.
And it just shows you how good filmmakers can make something that stand the test of time.
Which is interesting because I see this and already like the film quality is a lot better than The Kid, which was made in 1921.
Oh, speaking of film quality, let's talk about Oppenheimer.
Okay, new movie coming out.
Yeah, I just saw it yesterday. Yeah. No, I saw it 2 days ago. I saw it the 21st. I saw it.
Did you go see Barbie too? Because I remember.
Yes, I saw Oppenheimer at 3:30 p.m. matinee.
Okay.
And then I got out at 7, and then at 7:45 I went to go see Barbie. And I saw Oppenheimer in 70 millimeter film. I didn't see it in the 70 millimeter IMAX format that it was filmed in, but even just seeing it on film was fantastic, because when we're talking about quality, film is the best quality that you can get anywhere.
Okay.
Because you're not talking about square pixels. Because, there's 4K, there's 6K, there's 8K, whatever. People are working on 12K technology now. But you can do that, but film, although more expensive to film on, will give you great quality because it's not pixels, it is particles of silver, or at least in black and white, I think. Or no, in color it is silver, I believe. It's just got different color pigmented on it. But when light hits that silver, harsher light like freezes more silver particles together. That's why they make that dark black. And then, silver particles that weren't hit don't get exposed as much, so they're lighter. But with film, you can zoom in on it and still see a picture. With pixels, eventually it gets fuzzy,
Yeah.
because it doesn't have all of it. But when you're working with physical light itself, working with different particles, you're gonna get an exponentially better picture.
So with Oppenheimer, it was
filmed on IMAX 70 millimeter film, meaning,
Okay.
and the difference between regular, style of filming and IMAX, a lot of people don't know until somebody explains it. So I'll explain it. So there's this regular standard movie format, widescreen kind of thing, where there's the black bars above and below.
Yep.
That was how movies were for a long time. But with IMAX, imagine widescreen, but you just get more frame by getting whatever was in those black boxes. So you're getting more screen is basically what that is.
Okay.
So the entire screen fills up. So if you were to watch an IMAX film on your TV, you wouldn't get those black bars. You would get what the camera saw.
All right.
So you just get more movie, more screen.
Now, as a film student, Barbie, Oppenheimer, what'd you think?
Fantastic, both of them, both amazing movies in their own right. but they had an oddly similar, um, you know, vibe to them.
How so?
Well, you leave both films with a similar vibe. I saw someone on TikTok describe it so well. You leave both films and they both teach you that the consequences that happen when men don't know how to properly express their feelings.
Wow.
And this is such a true statement, because Oppenheimer is an emotional boy, but he doesn't show it the majority of the time. He's got a lot of internal chaos, I should say, and the movie shows it so well. Because I'll tell you a little bit about a scene from Oppenheimer.
Okay.
And minor spoilers. This isn't. I mean, this is history. It's been spoiled already.
Spoiler alert.
So I mean, this part isn't really a spoiler because it's kind of psychological for him. But so after the official bombings on Japan,
Mm-hmm.
Oppenheimer he goes to address his colleagues that helped him work on the bomb and tell them how it went. So as he's getting geared up to go make a speech, all of his colleagues are in the bleachers just pounding their feet slowly. So you hear and then it becomes this giant roar, and that becomes a theme throughout the entire movie. For like an anxiety moment for him. So when he gets up on stage and the roar is happening, it is dead silent, and he is, saying, "Okay, congratulations, guys, we did it," kind of thing. And then everyone gets up and cheers, but the cheering is muted. You cannot hear their cheers. And then as they're cheering, he seems like he's still yelling because they're being so loud, but you don't hear their cheers. Neither does he. And he says, "I just wish we would have had this bomb ready when the Nazis were still active." And then they cheer even louder, and he still can't hear their cheers, but he hears a scream, one woman's scream. And then he sees a flash of light on the crowd. The crowd basically gets white out. They are completely overexposed because of this giant flash of light, like an atomic bomb. And then they disappear, because that's symbolizing all of the lives that were just lost in Japan because of the flashing of the
And
light.
he's coming to realization
that
of that.
he has this is the part of the film where he realizes he has blood on his hands because he created this mass destruction weapon. But then he takes a step forward because he wonders where the crowd went. And you hear a crunch. He looks down, and he is standing in a burnt corpse, unrecognizable burnt corpse. And then he looks back up with this horrified look on his face, and there are people just crowding him, patting him on the back, cheering him on, because he is the father of the atom bomb.
Now, what about Barbie?
Barbie? So I had expectations going to Barbie that it was going to be this awesome, light-hearted comedy about Barbie.
Mm-hmm.
Should have thought more deeply into it, because Greta Gerwig is a fantastic genius who is never subtle about her craft. And
that's the director, correct?
Yes, Greta Gerwig. She also made Little Women. I don't know if you've seen that.
Little Women. I feel like I may have seen it, if not heard something about it, but I know she's done some pretty good work.
She is a fantastic director. So anybody who says women can't direct, shut the fuck up. Greta Gerwig is a genius. So Barbie, it starts out exactly how I expected it to. but then it makes a shift, like it just drags you with it the entire way, because you are like, okay, Barbie, but also Barbie and Ken are figuring out that things are not as they thought they were in Barbie Land. Women do not control everything. In fact, the world is mainly controlled by men, and Barbie and Ken are shocked by this. Barbie is shocked in a scared way, because whenever a good example is when they're rollerblading down the beach, she is getting looked at by men, and they are making comments to her, and she says, Ken, they're staring at us, and he says, yeah, they're also looking at me, and she says, yeah, I'm feeling like kind of a hostile vibe. And he says, oh really? I feel like I'm being admired. And so that is Greta Gerwig's way of, like, you know, saying,
Wow.
like, this is how people are viewed in society, because women are looked at and it is very hostile.
Yeah.
But when men are looked at with a beautiful woman next to them, they are admired, and it goes
That's
way
nuts.
That's just above the surface. That's
Yeah.
right when they get there.
And that's
And
Wow.
then Ken, you know, because Ken in Barbie Land feels powerless and unnoticed, because Barbie is very important and he's just Ken. And also I saw a TikTok where somebody described Barbie and Ken are representations of young adults, or young children becoming adults. So Ken is an adolescent boy becoming, like joining manhood, because he has all these built up feelings that he doesn't know what to do with, and he wants to be seen. And Barbie is, you know, a adolescent girl coming into womanhood and realizing that the world is not kind to her.
Right.
So when Barbie realizes this, she goes through an entire emotional roller coaster about, you know, I thought I was making things better, because in the beginning of the movie she states that she believes that Barbie, the brand, inspires women to, you know, be whatever they want to be, because Barbies can be whatever they want to be, because there's a Dr. Barbie, a pilot Barbie, a writer Barbie,
pretty much any kind of Barbie that you think of.
Yes. And then she goes into the real world, and somebody literally tells her that Barbie is one of the reasons why women are not respected in the world, because Barbie has unfair body standards, because Barbies are so thin and they have perfect hair, and they're always these extravagant things. And it's also another, because they also said that Barbie is also a reflection of unhealthy capitalism and consumerism, because Barbie has all these fancy
And this is in
things.
the movie?
Yes. And a tween, like a 12-year-old girl, tells Barbie all these things that I'm telling you. Yes. And so that happens.
Who knew it was going to be such a big old comedy? But then there's like different,
and comedy is sprinkled into those serious moments too. Like they have a perfect balance going on there.
All right, that works.
But so Barbie's going through this like very sad thing, and then Ken figures out what patriarchy is, and he says, wow, this patriarchy stuff is great. I feel more noticed in this patriarchy thing, because you know, he's now experiencing something he's never experienced before. So he's like, oh, I like this. And he brings patriarchy back to Barbie Land, and he thinks that patriarchy is all about trucks, men, beer, which they call in the film, because they're Barbies and they don't know a lot of it. They don't know what beer is. They call them brewski beers, because he did light reading on manly things. So he got down trucks, brewski beers, horses, and, you know, just men stuff.
Okay.
So he comes back to Barbie Land knowing that horses, brewski beers, and he eventually reinvents Barbie's house, and he calls it Ken's Mojo Dojo Casa House. Which he's just all the male stereotype stuff rolled into one at that point, because he's like, yeah, I want to be this man, and so that Barbie will finally notice me.
So pretty much overall, a lot of messages
Yes.
that are built in the
Yes.
film.
Yeah, I left Oppenheimer, being like, wow, I now hate nuclear war even more, because I didn't support it.
I mean,
coming in.
it is an ugly thing.
Yeah, well, because a quote in Oppenheimer is, they thought that all war would be stopped because the atom bomb was invented. They were like, this will stop all war.
Nope.
And then somebody told Oppenheimer, they said, well, yeah, until somebody builds a bigger bomb.
Yep. Or tries to match it.
Yeah, well, because then somebody built the hydrogen bomb, which is exponentially more detrimental.
Do you know if that was
atom
ever
bomb.
used
Yeah.
in war?
Not in war. No. It was tested, though. The Tsar Bomba, Russia,
Oh,
the biggest bomb ever made.
groovy.
It's pretty cool. It's cool to watch, but not cool to have.
Well, let's talk about that more, but right now we're going to take another quick break.
Yeah.
All right. So, the fact that you've seen both Barbie and Oppenheimer, you say everybody should go see that, though.
I think everyone should go see Barbie and Oppenheimer. If they're lucky, go see it at the same time, or not same time, on the same day, one after the other. But if that's too much of an overload for you, that's fine. But before we move on to the next topic, let me just say my thoughts after Barbie. Very good film, kind of emotional. If you're a mother, you will cry during this movie. If you're a daughter, you may cry during this movie.
If you were a girl, you may cry during this movie.
Yeah, because it is very emotionally impactful.
What about, did you cry during that movie?
No, I did not. I don't cry during movies. All right. Anyway,
You heartless bastard.
No movie has ever made me cry.
Watch Dear John.
I've only teared up for a couple movies. But yes, Barbie, you leave questioning the patriarchy if you haven't already. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on those films.
All right. So, if you could give out your top 5 non-Star Wars and non-Marvel movies, because I know how much you are a fan of those.
Let me whip out Letterboxd real quick.
Okay. Speaking of which, let me pull that up too, because I want to compare how many movies, Mr.
Dude,
Film Major.
For Film Major, I don't watch enough movies.
Which that's so odd.
Well, I try. I'm like slowly gaining up on movies.
Because I'll tell you right now, 852 and counting. 852 films I've seen.
743. Or no, not 743. What? Where did I? Oh wait, I was looking at wrong numbers. Sorry. 438.
Dog.
Very different from 743.
Dude, you got to get up. If
hey.
you're, there's so much to be seen, so many movies to
okay.
to learn about.
So I've been watching movies. I'll even tell you my diary.
Your diary.
Yeah, because on when you watch a movie and you log it, it's called your diary.
Oh.
So on the 21st, I watched Barbie and Oppenheimer. The 19th, I watched The Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King. On the 17th, I watched A Man Called Otto. 16th, I watched The Terminator, and I also watched The Predator. 10th, I watched The Airplane. 9th, I saw 1917. 9th, I also saw Super Mario Bros. Movie. 8th, I saw Hall Pass and Terminator 2. 27th, I saw The Menu. 23rd, I saw The Menu. 21st, Team America, World Police. 19, Green Mile, The Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers. 15th, Pacific Rim. 15th.
So the majority of what you've been watching sounds like fairly good movies.
Oh yeah, I only watch well-rated movies unless it is a cult classic like The Room.
Oh.
It is Tommy
Are-
Wiseau.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, it sucks, but it's a cult classic.
Oh, hi,
I
Mark.
guess. Yeah, his acting is terrible, and the fact that it got as popular as it did just for how bad it is.
Yeah, it is the example that they showed me in film how to not write a scene.
Yeah,
In like one of my first lessons of script writing, they whipped up one of the scenes from The Room, the flower shop scene,
okay.
and he's my professor, Joel Petrakis, who is kind of famous actually. He's been to Hollywood and he's made movies. He is a fantastic professor, but he showed us this is how you don't write a scene, because in The Room he gives way too much. He gives way too much context. Like, so he enters the shop, okay? And he goes to the counter, he says, "Yes, I'd like a dozen red roses, please." And then yeah, play it. And she says, "Oh, hi Johnny, I didn't know it was you."
Flowers.
How would you? He just took off his
Right?
glasses, and she was like, "Oh, hi Johnny, I didn't know it was you." You can hear how terrible it is through the sound of it without even getting the context.
Hi.
Can I help you?
Yeah, can I have a dozen red roses, please?
Oh, hi, Johnny. I didn't know it was you. Here you go.
That's me. How much is it?
It'll be $18.
Here you go. Keep the change. Hi, doggy.
You're my favorite customer.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye-bye.
And that's the scene. That's it.
That's just god awful.
Yes, and so the problem is you don't say hello and you don't say goodbye. That is the thing that you do not do when you're writing a scene. You don't say, "Oh, hi." You just start the dialogue, because nobody gives a shit about saying hi unless it's important to the story.
Correct.
And you don't say bye either. You just end the scene.
Or unless it has
unless it
to-
has
yeah.
significance. And also the
Penny, say the main character is Penny, and you got Billy as one of the guys who are so Billy is in this passion with Penny, and Penny goes, "Well, is this goodbye?" And he goes, "Baby, we do not say goodbye." Perfect point.
That's a significant thing.
Yeah.
Like, well, yeah. So it's like so dumb, but he also like puts in stuff that doesn't even need to be put in there, like the when he says, "Hi, can I have a dozen red roses, please?" And she says, "Oh, hi Johnny, I didn't know it was you." She said hi twice. You don't need to say hi multiple times. Or well, she didn't say hi twice, but you don't need to say hi twice in the same dialogue between two people. And it's just so funny because when he grabs the roses, he's like, "That's me," and they repeat the dialogue back to each other so fast. It's like, "Oh, how much is that?" Blah blah blah, and then he pets the dog and says, "Oh, hi, doggy."
Yeah, and then
doesn't
she's
need
like,
to
"You're my
be
favorite
there."
customer."
Exactly.
It's like
that's
what?
It's unnecessary. We don't need to know this. This isn't important to the story, and it's not even how someone in real life would act. They created their own form of interacting with humans.
That's just bad. That's just bad dialogue.
It is absolutely terrible. But you asked what my
give me your top 5 non-Marvel, non-Star Wars movies.
I should let you know that I'm very indecisive and my opinion changes through time.
Okay.
So right now, my favorite movies, right now, and it will probably change within a month. Right now, I'm rocking with Barbie. I'm rocking with Oppenheimer.
He's rocking with Barbie.
Okay, The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King is fantastic, and I watched these.
Are these all
recently.
like recent films that that are just now your new favorites?
Well, I watched Return of the King for the first time the other day, but it came out in 2003.
Okay.
So it's been out for a while, but I never got into the series, and I finally watched it, and I was like, I see what the hype is about. Another movie that is not as well, I don't think it was really popularized that much. I love The Menu.
Okay.
It came out in 2022.
Menu.
Yeah. Menu. It is starring. It's starring
Anya Taylor-Joy,
Yes.
Ralph Fiennes,
Yes.
Nicholas Holt.
If you don't know who Ralph, I don't know how to pronounce his last name is, but the head chef is who he plays. He's the guy who played Voldemort.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That's
He plays a head
Ralph
chef.
Fiennes.
yeah.
Oh,
no.
it's a horror thriller.
Yes, horror. Honestly, I don't even know the definition of horror anymore. It's like, so basically, it's definitely a thriller. I wouldn't call it a horror because I never got scared. There's just very good.
He doesn't cry
there-
at films, nor does he
No,
get scared.
put me in a film with Exorcist. I'll probably get scared because I hate horror movies like that because they get you in the cheapest way possible. They get you on a jump scare.
Yeah.
Jump scares are the most disgusting and backwards way of getting a reaction out of the audience. That's you. A jump scare is the equivalent of a child sneaking up on a parent when they're sleeping because they're not expecting it, but they're scared anyway because it.
What
just
about like
happened.
slasher films and those kind of horror
Yeah,
films?
well, because if you have gore gets a reaction, and gore takes effort because you are trying to figure out what's the grossest way that we can make this thing look. People
Okay.
are in the effects department and they're like, okay, I'm gonna do the special effects makeup on you, and it's going to look so horrific it might make someone vomit.
So pretty much it says focuses on a young couple who visits an exclusive destination restaurant on a remote island where the acclaimed chef has prepared a lavish tasting menu.
Yes, so the film is literally just a slap in the face about
Cannibalism?
No, there is no cannibalism in this film.
No shit.
No, I thought there would be too. But I went into it thinking, cannibalism, possibly, whatever. Turns out there wasn't. It is a direct statement on consumerism, gluttony, and it's just this giant statement about how rich people food is like so tiny, but it costs $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
It all summed up in like one of the final, scenes where
So how is it
said
a
that
horror thriller though?
because people die.
Oh.
Yeah. And this isn't a spoiler. Literally, it is stated almost at the beginning of the film that all the rich people who go to this expensive resort will die. The chef says to them, eventually, like semi in the beginning, he's like, you're all gonna die tonight.
Oh.
We're like, because he thinks he's right that they are privileged, they're spoiled, and they think they deserve so much, and like there are these three wealthy businessmen who work for the owner of the restaurant, and they don't get bread with one of their meals, and they're like, hey, can we get some bread? And like the whole point is like it's this extravagant restaurant, and each meal comes with a description, and it's a whole backstory and everything like that. And then it was the sous chef was like, no, you cannot get any bread. And they were like, well, I hate to pull this card, but do you know who we are? And they're like, and she says, yes, I'm fully aware of who you are, and no, you cannot get bread.
Oh, that
And-
movie just now makes me not want
Yeah.
to eat.
And but then she says one of the best lines in the film is she fixes his napkin for him, and she gets close to his ear and she says, "You will eat more than you deserve." Oh no, so sorry.
You fucking
Sorry,
butchered
yeah,
that
no,
shit,
so
dude.
she says, "You will eat less than you desire, but more than you deserve."
Ooh, I just got chills.
Yeah, that's it. I almost said it backwards.
So top 5 are, because we keep going back and forth.
Yeah.
With it.
Top 5 right now: Oppenheimer, Barbie, The Menu. Put Lord of the Rings on there, The Return of the King,
Okay.
and The Green Mile.
I mean, I will agree with you on the Green Mile,
I showed it to Casey.
which is funny,
She
which
was
is interesting
a
because
ball.
they're all what you've seen as of recent.
Yeah, well, because you can only base your favorite things on what you can remember the most.
Mm.
Because if you think, what were your top 5 favorite toys when you were growing up? Can you remember them?
Yeah, Woody doll,
God.
my Woody doll. What else was there? There was
Right. Okay, well, so you had a top 5.
Yeah.
But how fast did that change?
quite a lot.
Right. So you get this new toy that you love the most
Yeah.
now, and the one of the least favorite, went to the back, and so now you have this new rotation of favorites every now and then, and that's the same with films. It's like a new one comes
but
out.
I've
and
always had kind of the same outlook. Some films
yeah,
I would
well,
say are
'cause-
better
'cause
than others and
I
everything
can
like
tell.
that.
I can tell you right now, and everyone who knows you knows this. Your taste of movies is like stuck in the 80s. You only love
Kind of.
80s to 90s classic cinema.
True and false.
I know that you're down to see new stuff, but your favorites will always be Goodfellas. It will always be Rudy. It will always be whatever else you'll love Rocky till the day you die.
Yep, the Rocky franchises I will love till the day I die. Yeah.
So like, and I like those movies too, but they're not my favorites. I mean, granted, I haven't seen Goodfellas all the way, but
Which you need to.
yeah, it's
Martin
on my list.
Scorsese's
It's on my
fantastic.
it-
Casino, another good one.
yeah, it's on my list.
Have you seen The Godfather?
Not all the way either. I've seen a lot of clips of these movies.
Oh,
but-
you gotta see these. You
I
got
know.
to see
Well,
these.
The,
These
the
are
problem
iconic.
is, like, during the summer while I'm at work and after I get out of work, I want to have some free time. But then, like, if I want to watch a movie, the movies that we're mentioning are kind of long.
Well, Goodfellas isn't actually that long.
Yeah.
Godfather
Well,
is.
I am saying this after sitting through watching Oppenheimer, which is 3 hours and 7 minutes.
Dear God.
And then Barbie, which is, I think, like 2.5, maybe a little more, 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Oh, well.
What? 1 hour and 54 minutes? No way. I'm sorry. I'm so wrong. Wow. Barbie. Okay, here's another thing Barbie does. It stretches out what you think time is, because I was in that theater for an hour and however minutes, and I felt like I was in a full feature length. I mean, it is a full feature length, but I mean, it's like, that's not usually the time that a movie goes for.
Oh.
But no. Wow.
Wow.
Very good.
JT, it was a pleasure chatting with you, but gonna have to cut this short. I gotta head to softball now.
That's cool.
So, but thank you for coming on to the show.
Appreciate
Very
it.
much appreciate it, and glad
Yeah.
we could share movie interests and talk about all these different types of things, and having your outlook and your knowledge from college and shine light onto this podcast. So I
Yeah.
very much appreciate it.
There's plenty more where that came from. So if you ever need any fill-ins, who to call. So
Yeah, Ghostbusters. All right. Thanks, JT.
Thanks. Great.